So, hi guys, welcome back, and this video will be my wrap up for the summer. So all the books I read in June, July and August. It's kind of the first time I'm not glad that I'm doing seasonally wrap-ups because I've read more books than I usually do, and this would be probably a long video to film and a long video to edit and all that kind of stuff. I actually read 13 books, which is quite a lot for me. The only disappointing thing is that from my TBR list I did for summer, I've read I think 6 books and I DNF'd 1. And in total it was 12 books, so I have 5 books I haven't even touched again this summer. But yeah, also this summer I've participated in 4 different readathons and 1 buddy read. So what I could tell, now I even more clearly understand that weekly readathons, read-alongs, buddy read didn't work for me. My scale it's like monthly readathon. In that case I would manage to fit the challenges, maybe. But like reading a lot of books in a week, no chance. Like no. Honestly, I haven't read a lot of stuff outside of readathons. That just kind of happened. I think I've mentioned this book in my spring wrap-up because I finished 1 story from the book before summer. So The Robinsons of Cosmos and Those of Nowhere by Francis Carsac. So for the second one, and I think I still love The Robinsons of Cosmos more. And it sticks in my memory more because when I looked through the book I was like, oh wait, I finished this book? What it was about? I don't remember. And only when I went and I've read the synopsis of the second story I was like, yeah, I've read that one, yeah. Now I remember. It was interesting. I don't think I've read a lot of sci-fi like this with first of all, for aliens who are look-alike humans, there's still a lot of different races and cultures, and all this description was quite interesting. But also there is one completely different race which look nothing like humans or humanoids, and so they can't live alone. And this war happens. That was really interesting. So I think I could recommend this book. Just taking consideration it was written a long time ago, so maybe some super advanced technologies may look stupid to you. Then I was participating in Queer Lit Readathon, and for all my weekly readathons I participated in this season, I think it was the most successful, but because I found the book fits a lot of different challenges. So I've read Drum Roll Please by Jenn Bigelow, and oh my god, I was thinking of doing maybe even a separate book review for this because but maybe I should reread it to do a full review, but it made me so freaking emotional. I always didn't understand the people who are against queer books for younger children, even teenagers, because like kids shouldn't read this is dirty, blah, blah, blah. Because this is the most freaking cute middle grade queer book I could imagine, because I don't read a lot of queer books. I wish I had this book when I was 12 or something, like so 13, around the age of main character, maybe a little bit older, because I know it could affect me in a positive way so freaking much. I haven't bought a physical copy because I think I could possibly reread it, maybe not even once. It's such a cool book. Maybe it's affected me that much because previously all the queer books I've tried to read for me wasn't good, and it was disappointment after disappointment, and like that one's like straight right into the heart. And you know, I don't usually read middle grade. I don't usually read contemporary. I'm like mostly read adult sci-fi and like old adult sci-fi written by white middle-aged men. I don't really read such books. They don't usually interest me, and like, is this not that kind of situation where reviewers put extra stuff just for having a presentation? No, like there's a really good story between friends, and like they're going to a different environment, to the summer camp, and that's how the friendship kind of struggle with this new environment, new people, a new relationship, and not only romantic relationship, but relationship with all different people and all new friendships. That also was really interesting. Also, I really liked reading from a perspective of a character who is a musician, and reading about how they practice all the stuff. It also was really cool. Then I read Binti by Nnedi Okorafor, and this is the first part of a trilogy, and I'm planning to continue reading it because there's something interesting in it. So Binti is set in this futuristic world where there is space travel and stuff, and there is this huge kinda space academy, space university for people, or not only people, from all over the universe. And Binti is from really, I would say, quite closed and old-fashioned, old-minded society, and they don't really like outer people, and no one from their kind was studied in that university ever. And Binti decided, like, I want to study in that university, and she knows it would probably not completely broke her relationship with her family and all the people she know, but she goes anyway. The thing I don't like about this book is super short. Usually I'm a fan of short stories, but I felt like for this story the format was too short. I felt like it should be like at least 50 pages more, maybe even 100 pages more. This is quite short book, it's like novella. And there was really at least one moment when I was reading it in the book, and I was like, what happened? Like, it was so quick, a lot of things smashed together, and I feel like in a different book we will see it through the quite a lot of pages. So this was a little bit disappointment. Like, at that moment I almost thought to put this book down and DNF'd it, but I decided to finish it. I enjoyed the overall universe, so I still think I will try to read at least second book in the trilogy and see if I will struggle with this a lot of stuff in a short book. Maybe I will not finish the third one, who knows, but there's some disappointments for me, but not that much that I will decided not to finish the book or the series. So that was queer literature. Then there was Summer Witcher-thon, which wasn't that successful because I read one book. I finished one book, and one book I've DNF'd. So I think first I will talk about the book I finished. It was The Sleeper Awakes by Herbert George Wells. I love Herbert Wells, and I was really surprised that I actually haven't read all of his sci-fi yet. I've said yes, I should read it, and I like it. The only like thing you should maybe consider that this future society which Wells wrote, it's not really pleasant. Not really pleasant, especially for women, I could say. It's overall not really nice, but how these future women are portrayed. At some moment it really drives me mad. But you understood, and that this is not the author's position and opinion, and that's not the main character opinion. It's just how the world is. But if you're really sensitive to that, maybe don't read this book. Overall, I really enjoyed it. So the idea is main character suddenly falls asleep, and he sleeps for, I think, 200 something years, and suddenly wakes. And that happens. That's actually now he means a lot to the world, because I think his brother and some stranger who actually found him when he fell asleep, they for some reason decided to kind of invest money in him, and when they died they put all his money to him, but he's asleep. So there was a lot of people around him handling all this money stuff, and when he awakes he's the most rich person on the planet, and he's almost like a king. But the problem is people don't want him to be awake. These people who was all handling his money and ruling the society by his name, they don't want him to be awake. And then he meets like the other side of society, like people who want a revolution and all this stuff, but then he sees that they need him only like a symbol, but they don't want him to be a leader. So they also don't need him. I was surprised by the ending. I will not be spoiling it. If you will go like read the Wikipedia full article about the book, it's kind of spoilery, you will see it, but I think it's not in a synopsis. So I was surprised. I thought the ending would be different, but I still like it. I like how it was. And there was another book, The Program by Suzanne, but I didn't have it. So I actually tried to read this book, I think last December, when I was doing like a kind of try chapter, challenge, tag, you name it. So at this moment it intrigued me, but not like that much. So at that time I picked and read a different book, but so if you don't know what this book is about, it's again the kind of futuristic society in which in this world for some reason there's like epidemic suicides. So a lot of teenagers are committing suicide, and no one know what's happening, but instead look investigating it. It's like, hey, we have an epidemic, so we will force to prevent our children from dying. And basically if someone just show a little bit of suicidal behavior, they took him away from his family, from his school, to the program. And after that they kinda, they don't have suicidal thoughts anymore, but they're not the same person anymore. So they kinda erase memories, erase feelings. So it was a moment when one girl who went through the program, they met her, and he doesn't recognize her closest friends, she doesn't recognize her boyfriend, and no, it's really hard. I thought that I will manage to read the book with that much of suicidal stuff, but no, it's at some point I was reading this on the train, it's hit me in the feelings so much that I just closed it and like I can't continue reading it. So that was one point why I dropped it. Also, overall, I think it's not super interesting. It's kind of classical teenagers against the government, or teenagers against the system, probably it's a better word to say. So nobody understands them, they're like fighting against the world all by themselves. Yeah, it's just nothing else really besides it. Now I can't even remember the characters. I think they had quite relatively large friend group. I don't remember them. I had like who does what. So yeah, okay. And what surprised me is that book is quite huge. I think it's like 400 pages or something. It's like on the first book in the series, and there is 5 or 6. And when I look at it, like, no thanks. No. So, another book I've read was Aurora Rising by Amie, Kaufman and Kristoff. This is the first book I've ever read by any of these authors. I haven't read Illuminated, I'm not planning to do so. I like it. So, I had quite a problem with starting this book, but I think it's not like the issue of the book itself, but my issue as non-native English speaker, because if I will read this book in Russian, I know that I will have no problem starting it, but because of the vocabulary, this kind of futuristic military environment, in the beginning I was quite lost. I had to start this book like 2 or 3 times to make an attempt to go through the first like 10 pages, but then when I actually started, then I decided that like kind of sometimes even skipping the sentences I don't completely understood, but like I kind of guess what they mean. Then it was fine. Yeah, I was a bit surprised. Usually I don't have these struggles, even with sci-fi, but for some reason this combination of sci-fi and like kind of military pilot academy together just didn't work. Also was supposed to read it for budget read, but because I was attempting to start it again and again, it's kind of crossed with the Witcher. I think I've started this book like kind of 2 weeks later than it's supposed to do, but yeah, I really like it. I'm super hyped for the next book. I can't wait. I think the second book will be published like next year. I can't wait already. The only thing that I feel like some character narrative was super similar. Let me check the character list because I'm really bad in remembering names. Because they are different, they have different personalities, but I was mixing them all the time. So when the chapter was starting, I was reading and assuming that that's this character, but then apart from some details I was understanding those it's actually a different perspective. This Carl and Finian, they're not super similar, right? But I was confusing them all the time, and I think that one of them is like a warrior with this alien species who like kind of purplish elves, I guess, and the other person was more like a sciencey guy who's into computers and hacking, and because he grew up on a space station, he always wear this exoskeleton suit because otherwise his bones are too weak. So yeah, they're completely different, but because each chapter is a narration from perspective of a character, I don't like that type of narration when you're switching between the characters all the time. I specifically hate it in fanfiction. If I see that fanfic is built like that, I usually just close it right away. So I'm surprised that I liked that one actually. But yeah, I don't know why, but the narration was really similar. Or maybe it's just me confusing characters all the time. So next it was all in June, beginning of July, and then at the end of July it was the reading rush, which I also failed. Kinda. I finished one book. So the first book I read was the Dreadnought by April Daniels. I supposed to read it for queer lit readers, but I didn't manage to do so, so I've just moved it to a reading rush because it also fitted some challenges. So in this book, the main character Nnedi is a transgender, but when the book starts, she's not out yet, and when this superhero Dreadnought was killed, and he kinda fall in front of her, transforms her body, so now she's definitely looks like a woman. Only with like in-depth genetic investigation you could tell that she's not completely a woman, but otherwise she looks like a woman. It's everything she always wanted, but her parents can't accept it because all her childhood her father wanted to make her a true man. When she kind of understood that she's not, and when this transformation happened, they became super transphobic. So that could be definitely trigger warning for people, but overall I think it was an interesting book. I've never read a full novel with superheroes, and it was interesting. For some moments, yeah, it is quite cliche, and I've seen a lot of not like super negative, but not really positive reviews on Goodreads. With people telling this is super cliche. Some characters are like just collection of stereotypes. But this was kind of the stuff I was expecting from a superhero book. I wasn't expecting it to be super in-depth, like bright, controversial, morally grey characters. I was expecting the good guys and bad guys, and I got it. So yeah, maybe if you looking for a lot of controversial developed characters, maybe don't read this book, but I can't say it was bad. Also, I planned to read for reading rush the Marry Medusa by Theodore Sturgeon, and I had a hard time reading it because the main character, at least one of the main characters we see in the beginning, because of his accent, and maybe my English not that good. I'm not good at reading books which try to transcribe the accent, which became complete nonsense. I can't read it. Like I recently I was reading as a comic book, and where characters also, some of the types of the characters also have accent. I didn't understand more than half of the character kind of speech bubbles. Well, so now I'm seriously still thinking, do I want to finish this book or do I want to DNF it? The overall idea of To Marry Medusa really appeals to me. So in that universe there is that a super organism which kinda made a space expansion. So this spore traveled through the planet, and it's included itself into thinking being, and from that it's just kinda gets the planet. But before that, this alien species was only dealing with the types of organisms where they all are mentally connected. So when you fit into one species, you just got the whole planet. And the humans are not like that, and this species does not understand it, and when it tries to understand what happened, it kind of theorized that the humans was connected, but they kind of ill, or they're preventing themselves from species, like it sees us from the species from outside. So because they're all disconnected, it's hard to force all of them to do something. And this species said, yeah, we'll handle humans, we'll connect them again, which is kind of weird. So this idea quite appeals to me, but the main character accent is like, oh my god. I like really struggle reading it, so I'm still questioning it. Also, I've started rereading The Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone in English. Now I especially wanna manage to reread, because I don't remember when I saw the news, but the Harry Potter will be published in Belarusian maybe in the December this year or beginning of next year, hopefully. But I especially want to read this in English before I commit into reading that one more language. So maybe you could see my bookmark, but I've read kind of 30 pages, only two chapters. Actually, I've started reading it last November, and I just read a couple of chapters and stopped. But for reading Russian, I decided to, I will read it from the beginning, and yes, I stopped at that moment because I didn't have time. It kind of fitted the challenge from Need to Read a Song, but I have the other challenges I should prioritize. So yeah, I haven't read it, I haven't finished it, but I want to. I guess this video is going to be super long, so I'll probably divide it into 2 parts. So we are stopping now, and there will be a different video if you're still interested to know what books I've read. Yeah, we are stopping at that point. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video, definitely. Bye guys.